Good Tuesday morning to you. It's time for our extra shot of sunrise. I'm Carlos along with Julia, Chuck. We're all getting ready, Julia, for this big winter storm which is headed our way.
Yeah, if you've been with us this morning, that is really what the topic is, probably for the next couple of days. So let's begin with Chuck. So we'll get this timeline and how really everybody can plan the rest of their week.
Well, you know, I just got off the air on WFMS radio with Jim, Deb, and Kevin, and Jim asked me a really good question. He said, what time period should we start being concerned? And I said, it depends on where you live. Let me show you what I mean. I've had three main concerns here. And one is for northern Indiana, the continuous periods of heavy snow that will not stop. And here in the metro, long periods of sleet and freezing rain. So all of that means roads and power outages and closures and kind of a mess. Today, we're fine. We're at 31. We're going to get up to 52. We'll have some rain today and tonight, and then that leads you into Wednesday. And Wednesday night into Thursday, winter storm warnings have been issued. Lafayette to Kokomo on north and winter storm watches for here in the metro Indy area, and with good reason. I mean, you folks way north, you're going to see a foot to 15 inches of snow. I'm fairly confident of this, too, by the way. I just don't see small snow amounts anywhere north of Noblesville, and Noblesville could get 10 to 12 inches of snow. Same for Muncie, same for Crawfordsville and Kokomo, about 5 to 10 here. And you may wonder, well, why isn't Indy getting as much snow? Well, this is the reason. Notice this tonight. Rain is going to move in at about 6 o'clock in the morning. This is going to transition to freezing rain in the metro Indy area, but heavy snow starts from Crawfordsville to Kokomo. And you guys, this is going to continue unabated till Thursday night. That is, I'll do the math for you, 30 hours of snow. So that's really going to add up. Now, you'll notice here that the snow will start in Indy at about 3 o'clock Wednesday, but just south, freezing rain still. So this is a huge mess for roads. As we move into the time period of 7 a.m. Thursday, morning rush hour, I just don't think we're going to have much action on the roads because I don't think many people will be out there. Look at the snow still falling with an ice storm from Columbus to Seymour. This all transitions to snow during the day on Thursday, and then we've got a big change going into Friday. Now, 52 today, which is wonderful, but how quickly things change. We'll have rain that will go to freezing rain that will go to snow on Wednesday, all snow, all heavy snow Thursday, and then by Friday, icy roads and cold. We'll have a high of just 21 degrees. By Saturday morning, we drop down to 2 degrees below zero, you guys. And I mean, that's about as bad as it gets, honestly, without blizzard warnings. But we're doing this now because we want to reinforce it's nice outside out there right now. You can plan, you can get your salt ready, you can decide what you're going to do for child care if your schools are closed, and they will be closed. So keep that in mind.
I want to bring something up real quick. You know, technology that we can utilize. We're on Facebook. We're on the WTHR page.
Right.
I can see how many people are watching us on Facebook right now. 10 times the audience that usually watches Extra Shot is currently watching Extra Shot. So obviously,
Great, the day I put my sweater back on and took my actual
I wish I would have worn my hairpiece. Carlos, why didn't you tell me this?
but yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It shows that people are concerned about this storm. I mean, I'm looking at these numbers right now. It's amazing. Now it's 11 times
I told
the
Chuck
normal
this morning. I picked my son up from school yesterday, and of course the kids are excited because that was the first thing he was talking about. Did you hear about the snow? And he was like, I'm sure schools will be closed. So,
well, you know, the ice is what really bothers me. I was talking about this all morning long on Sunrise, and I don't think we can emphasize that enough.
Well, speaking of that,
we have these areas that get the freezing rain and sleet. That's going to put a covering. Now, some of the computer models, we showed this once, I think, during the show, because, you know, it's kind of iffy on these things, but showed 1/10 of an inch of ice. That's enough to knock down power lines. But around Bloomington, Columbus, and maybe even Franklin, 1/4 of an inch. That's a lot of ice. And I'm hoping we don't get that much because that would be a real problem with snow on top of that. It's just darn near impossible for that to melt. So also, you know, Julia, if you see road crews out there, give them their space.
Yeah.
They're going to need it.
And that's what a good thing that you've been reiterating all morning, especially Lindsay on traffic duty, but telling people also the way to get the latest weather updates anytime to make sure that they don't already have it. I know we remind you to download the Live Doppler 13 weather app, but this is exactly the reason, because it does show you those alerts and kind of when it's coming in your area, in case you're maybe not keeping up with the forecast all day long as you guys are giving those updates. You'll know when the storm will arrive, again, just where you live.
All right. Yeah, so we are now just 3 days away from the start of the Winter Olympics. By the way, I just before we get to the Winter Olympics, I just want there are a few people that are just asking some questions. You know, but these are a lot of specific questions. You know, and I don't want to be too specific with things, Chuck. So we'll look at these a little bit later.
Okay.
You know, as far as people talking about specific parts of Indiana and when those are going to hit. So
gotcha.
We'll talk about those a little bit later. Okay. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks for checking in.
Well, we are now just 3 days away from the start of the Winter Olympics in Beijing, maybe kind of fitting with this snow that's moving in. So we've taken a closer look at all of the athletes from Team USA, including those from Indiana. So take a look. Nick Gepper has been posting on Instagram showing his arrival to the Olympic Village. He's been playing some cornhole, also doing some puzzles there to pass the time. The Lawrenceburg, Indiana native is going to be one to watch in the freestyle skiing. And of course, you can catch all the Olympic action right here on Channel 13 and watch opening ceremonies, by the way, Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. bright and early.
Just when we thought, of course, that the Olympics would be the big story this week, this big storm comes in. So we'll get through the storm, and then we'll get you right into the Winter Olympics, Julia.
Well, it's fitting because then everybody will definitely be in the mood for snow and wanting to watch skiing and all of that stuff.
Well, yeah, you know, Friday morning when those Winter Games start here, it's going to be bitter cold, and we're going to have road crews everywhere trying to dig out, especially north. I mean, think about it. 15 inches of snow is possible up there. So it's going to take a while to plow that, and especially because, and I say this every time the Peru area gets a storm, you've got these east-west roads with a northerly breeze, so these things, the blowing and drifting, is going to be a problem, I think, Friday and into Saturday. So a lot of people are going to watch the opening games because they ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, and Chuck, you also mentioned that one of the worst factors on the back end of this storm will be the cold temperatures, because everything's basically going to just freeze in place.
Yes, and you're talking about Saturday morning. You know, IU has a game at noon against Illinois. Saturday morning, we're dropping down to 2 below zero with wind chills perhaps in the teens below zero. And so I think that when they tip off at Assembly Hall, a lot of people are just going to be wanting to get warm. Hey, go Hoosiers. So they're going to clap through the whole game to try and stay warm.
All right, well, in the past few weeks, we've talked a lot about the airline industry, kind of the good, bad, the ugly, dealing with the shortage of pilots, delays, but now there's a flight school right here in Indy that's helping people learn how to fly to become a pilot. So we're talking about the Lift Academy. It is the only flight school in America that's owned and operated by Republic Airways. And if you graduate from the academy and accumulate 1,500 hours of flying as an instructor, then you are guaranteed a job with Republic as a commercial pilot. And you actually don't even have to have any previous flying experience, because Lift Academy says they have about 30 pilots who have moved to work full-time with Republic Airways. So if you are interested, they will be hosting an open house at its facility from 4 until 7, and we do have more information on that if you are interested on WTHR.com. I know that John was kind of giving us an inside look at this earlier this morning. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I was like, I know that Chuck, I don't know if he was joking or not, would say that at one point he wanted to be a pilot, but 1,500 hours is kind of a big commitment there.
It is, but I mean, it's in such a condensed time. And you know, the great Bob Gregory was a pilot. And
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh. And he said, son, you got to learn how to fly a plane. And I really wanted to, but A, I had 3 small children and no money at the time.
And Mary was like, no.
Well, and then B, I get airsick. So unfortunately, but boy, do I think it's great for these young people at the Lift Academy. I mean, that's an instant road if you do what you're supposed to do to a job and a career in a great field.
In a year, they were saying.
In a year. Can you believe that? That's awesome.
30 pilots have, I guess, so-called graduated from there since they've been open and are working as commercial pilots. So way to go. That's pretty cool.
Before we get to Domino's Pizza, I just want to, this is so great. This is why I love our staff so much. So I talked about the people wanting to know specifics. Lindsay Monroe has now jumped on Facebook, and Lindsay's now answering everybody's questions.
Thank you, Lindsay.
About the specific parts of when things are going to happen.
She said you're welcome.
Yeah,
and by the way, TV's Lindsay Monroe will be here on the noon show today because we're going to have some updated models. I don't think this is going to change a lot, but it'll probably change a little bit. So Lindsay will update you. And remember, if you can't get near a TV, you can watch it right here at WTHR.com.
Brilliant. All right. Well, hey, let's quickly talk about pizza, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll be eating a couple pizzas in the newsroom here the next couple of days. Domino's will now tip you if you choose carryout over delivery. The pizza chain will give customers $3 if they choose carryout on online orders. So the so-called tip will appear as a credit that can be used on future online carryout orders. The deal runs through May 22nd. No surprise here. This is a driver shortage, worker shortage. Barry and I ordered pizza this week, and we were waiting. They kept saying it was on its way. It's on its way. They finally called us and said, our driver didn't show up.
Oh, no way.
They said, can you wait another hour and a half? And I'm like, no.
I'll pass out by then.
I'm like, I will be in bed by then. Yeah, so Barry just went and picked it up. But it's, you know, you couldn't be mad.
Hard.
It's just kind of what's happening.
There's a shortage of workers every place, and you know, especially if you want your pizzas. So there you go.
I do kind of wish that they would just give you $3 off your order, though, instead of the
credit towards your next purchase.
But I mean, I guess they do have to, you know, they have to try to keep their money in house too. So I get it, but
well, if you download the Domino's app, you get 10 pizzas, you get a free pizza.
Oh, there you go. All right, there we go.
Guess who does that?
I would guess you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's move on now and talk about Peyton Manning. He's done with football, but he's got more time on his hands, so he's spending more time on TV. The former Colts QB was on SNL this past weekend. It was hilarious. Just last night, he was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. When Peyton was on SNL, he kept talking about his love for the Netflix show Emily in Paris. It was part of a skit that he did. But he says he's actually never seen the show. Here's what he told Jimmy last night.
I've never seen an episode of Emily in Paris. Not sure if I'm going to in the future. I feel like I know so much about it now, Jimmy. But I think I'm going to be asked to be in season 3, like a big part.
It was well done.
For now, he's getting some attention from the show's star, Lily Collins, who said on Instagram, Peyton Manning in a beret is everything I didn't know that I needed, which is awesome. Peyton was also asked about Tom Brady's rumored retirement. Peyton said we should just all chill out and wait to hear from Tom Brady himself. And we all agree about that.
Yeah, I agree with that one. All right, we got a reminder for you. Tickets for Zubillation are going on sale at 9 o'clock this morning. It's about an hour and a half for the June 10th event. So they cost $275 if you're a member and $300 for non-members, but you guys know they sell out so fast. So we do have a link to that on WTHR.com. I've never been to Zubillation, but I know that Julia, you're a big fan. Chuck, you're a big fan as well.
Yeah, it's just a fun night if you're a foodie and you love the zoo because, you know, it's where, you know, dozens and dozens of local restaurants bring their food, and then, you know, it's like you end up seeing, it feels like everyone you know that you never see, so you're walking around enjoying. And this year it's kangaroos, Chuck. I think that'll be fun.
I enjoy Zubillation for a lot of reasons. Julia and I have judged this thing for probably close to 20 years, would you say?
I bet you're right,
I think it's been that long. And to get to meet the people who run the restaurants, I love that part, the relationship building. And plus, you get to eat before everybody else does. So when people say, what's good? You say, well, there, and there. But it is awesome. Of course, the money is raised to the zoo. They don't ask you for any money there. It's all just fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so everything, you buy this ticket, it's costly, but it's their biggest fundraiser of the year. And if you're interested, I mean, I am not kidding, Julia, they may sell out by today.
Oh,
like,
I believe it. I set an alarm because I started seeing people talking about it last night, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I literally set an alarm for because I remember, but the reason why I heard about it last year around the time that I did is because people were like, oh man, it's sold out. Yeah. And the tickets had gone on sale. It was just a couple of days, so I believe it.
It's in June. Oh, June. June, a dream away. All right, so let's wrap things up. Don't forget to download the WTHR weather app if you don't have it yet on your phone. I'm just looking right now at Lindsay, such an all-star. She's answering everybody's questions.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, that is great. For Julia Moffitt, for Julia Brooks, for Lindsay Monroe, for Chuck Lofton, I'm Carlos Diaz. Hey, stay close to your phone and to your TV for the latest updates right here from 13 News. We'll see you tomorrow morning on 13 Sunrise.